Bringing in another machine. I'm glad that my base is finally dried out, actually holding up stuff, so barely leaving a tire print with the loaded roller on the trailer, so that's always good. Get some stone on that and that should definitely be better. There's one mud puddle up there right at the edge of the stone there where I left a little bit of a low spot. I put a little bit of dirt in there, it just didn't get packed in good. Still a little bit wet, but I can cut that out and put some rock in there. Yesterday, before I left, as you saw, we ended up cutting this clay out with the D7, pushing it down the hill, and then kind of put it in place with the skid steer. I got the sheep's foot to kind of roll that in a little bit better. I'm going to jump on Fred this morning, go out back and start up the 350, go ahead and dig another pit, start getting some more dirt to finish that section of the road down there. And then I'd like to bring the motor grader over here probably first thing in the morning and see if I can't start crowning this up a little bit. My parts for the Komatsu dozer did not come in yet. That would be very beneficial to have right here. That's about as close as I can get it with a D7. It's not terrible, but it's hard to get that nice crown in it that it needs. I just don't have enough seat time on that thing, and I don't even know if you could do it with that thing. But that's not terrible, but it's not the way it needs to be. And then I'm gonna take the 220, just kind of rake this hillside down a little bit more. That way it's a little bit smoother, and obviously you can maintain it better. Try to cut a little bit of a ditch in there to take any of this water, run it down that side of the road to the culvert pipe where it can go under and go downstream under his driveway as well. All right, well, let's get to it. A lot of work to do. Let's load out some dirt. Kind of mixing all this clay together. I want to leave a spot. I'm going to do this one a little bit different. Leave a spot big enough where I can get the 350 around and I can throw all that material back into this hole, and then I can dig a hole back there in that corner because I'm going to need more dirt. It probably ended up with about if I had to guess, probably a 30 load undercut, which means I've got to cut out about 30 loads, or 600 and some cubic yards of mud, and swap it out up here in this corner with some dry dirt. But what you got to keep in mind is if you take out 30 loads, you got to haul back 30 loads just to get back to where you were, on top of the 50 to 60 loads that I had planned to move up there to fill in the valley under normal conditions. We just ended up with a lot more unsuitable soil than I thought there was going to be. But just requires a little more digging and a few more truckloads. But it ain't nothing but a thing. That's a full load. Let's go dump it. We'll come back and get some more. Trying to get as much of this clay and not push myself into that pine tree over there. That would not be good, Chris. I probably ought to just knock that thing down before I smack into it, and I'll be all grumpy. Alright, let's go dump that out. I've loaded out 7 loads, number 8 on the truck. I've been on the phone there with John for an hour talking about things, just catching up with everything, and about hauled too much dirt. So got the D7 going. I'm gonna knock that down, take the sheep's foot, pack it all in, and then back up there, start maybe another lift of dirt. I may go ahead and take the 220 and rake my dirt down off that hill so that on the next lift I can push that down here as well. So got that edge raked down and this material pulled out here. I'm gonna take the skid steer real quick, scoop some of that up, add it to the edge right there. Go ahead and unload the sheep's foot, roll in everything down there, and probably start another lift right here before lunch. Got packed in there good. I'm gonna back the dump truck up here, dump another load right there. I've got this weird little sag right there to fill in. Grab a couple of these random roots. I think I'm still gonna maybe blade this down a little bit and top it with some of that better red clay. I know that'll get wetter and mushier, but I just don't know how well. I mean, this stuff packs really good, but I don't know what happens when it gets wet. Can't get no worse than that, I guess. Let's see if the truck will back up there. I left that high, so when I cut that out, I can just push that down. I've actually got to shift the road over just a little bit more. Got a little bit off center there by dumping the dirt there. Oh, I just noticed I drove off and left my blocks laying on the ground at the house. Whoops. Well, that'll make it unloading a little bit more difficult. Just threw the motor grader on this trailer real quick. Didn't have to go too far. I'm going to unload it and see if I can't start blading this road off. I do have some stone coming tomorrow. I'd like to get from about the excavator to here covered before it rains. That way it kind of seals this off a little bit, but I need to go ahead and grade it out and get a crown put on it. This road, which is going to drain regardless because I pretty much have it up here on this ridge now. Just trying to get everything nice and even. Get some ditches cut down the edge. Everything will just be just dandy. Bring the smooth drum roller in the morning to roll all this loose dirt in, just to finish everything off. I'm gonna go ahead and try to cut this ditch over here. That way any extra dirt I can roll it up into the road right here. And then I'll move that equipment and then I can roll it all the way down to where I got to start filling in dirt again. Well, I didn't take long to get that on grade where it needs to be. Got a nice little swell cut in here. What I'll do at the very end, come in here with the mini excavator and just take that and just sweep that back into the hillside, clean all that up. Take the skid steer, push this dirt out of the way, and that way I have a spot to park my truck now. And move all this stuff. I can go ahead and take this, carry it on down the hill, and get probably, I'd say almost half of this road on grade. Then I can go down here and start cutting out some more of that bad material and hauling it up top so we can fill that in tomorrow. That's what's so nice about that little grader. You can just run right down here in no time. I think I have an hour and a half in that, crowning this road up, getting that cut over there. Pretty much a little edge right here for stone. And just come here at the end with the skid steer and just slick that up on the edges where it fits. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to go down there, dump that brush out, and bring the truck back down here and probably the 350, and we'll cut that muddy stuff out in the morning, haul that up to the top of the hill. I'm going to bring the big machine down here. Knock a little dirt back in the center of the road here. All those loads that we've hauled over, just kind of rutted it up pretty good. Which, once I come through here, I'll have to undercut this as well. Bring good material down to fill this in. But just trying to get this leveled up a little bit better. When the truck comes down here, it hits pretty hard. Kind of wants to throw you off into the ditch over there. But tomorrow should be the last day of hauling dirt across here. And then I just got to see what the weather looks like. think they're calling for rain. Today's Thursday. I think they're calling for rain on Monday. So I don't think I want to mess with trying to put that pipe in and getting that, you know, just being rushed over the weekend to get the culvert pipe in. And then if it does rain Monday, it'll be too wet, which I can burn. Got options of things to do. So much mud. That's a little more passable. That's actually worked really good. That brush, I packed it in there, laid it in there nice and straight, but that has worked honestly a little bit better than I thought it would. Just I was able to put that goopier stuff, the dirt over top of it, and that just kept any of that dirt from going down through there and blocking the flow of the water through there. So I'm happy with it. Take this up here, park it, call it a day. That'll be a wrap for today. I don't feel like getting started on moving any of this. I'll have Robert tomorrow so he can drive the truck. We'll get this cut out, probably another 8 or 10, probably 12 loads by the time I cut that ridge out and this right here. Get that material cut out, then we can go down there, dig some more out of the borrow pit, and back up here, dump it in here. Then I can fill that in with that stuff in the back, and then dig a hole right there, because that is a little bit more better red clay there. This stuff packs really good, but I think I'd rather have some of that red clay on top of it, even though it seems to be a little more spongy. It just bonds together a little bit better than this stuff. But so far this stuff has held up pretty well. All right, be back tomorrow.